All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Happy Monday. How's it going, Jen?
Great. How are you?
Amazing. Your voice sounds stellar.
I have a cold.
I could tell. All right, today we're talking about opening a salon, and I figured we could run through like a basic build out for people
Okay.
and what it looks like. We could talk a little bit about maybe what we did and all that fun stuff. But I think people could get some benefit in like what to prepare for before opening, because we see a lot of like, hey, I opened a salon. What should I do now?
Right.
And there's a lot of things that you should do first before you open your doors. And then you're going to have non-negotiables like things like systems and stuff that are going to prevent all that chaos that you're going to get if you don't have those things in place. And then one of the big reasons is just building a business that you're not going to resent in a little bit down the road,
Love it.
whether it's a couple years or a couple minutes.
Hmm.
But as always, we start with opening takes. Opening takes.
Nice. You want me to go first?
Sure, if you want to.
Sure. So my opening take, I talk about this a lot. I don't know if you do, but I just saw something pop up on my feed, so I'm going to use it. The truth about becoming a hairstylist. It's what it said. So I think a lot of people think, I want to be a hairstylist. It's going to be so fun. And I get to do cool things. And there is a point where it becomes fun, but in the beginning, it may not be so fun. And here's why. Even if you're good at doing your hair, your friend's hair, doing hair on clients is a very different skill set than doing hair on yourself and on your friends. Your creativity, your inspiration might have come from that. But in order to become a hairstylist or cosmetologist or barber or anything in any profession, you're going to need to work on a lot of skills. And those skills are going to come from technically to professionally to learning how to communicate better. You're going to have to grow and mature. All of these things don't all come at the same time. So if you're even new into the hair world and you're struggling, you're like, this isn't as fun as I thought it was going to be, it's okay. It will get better. If you really love it and you want to get better at it, practice, find great education that will teach you hands-on, find a mentor that can teach you hands-on, work with someone that will help you build your consultation skills, work with someone that will help you build with constructive criticism on all the skills that you need to cut hair, color hair. And once you start gaining some traction with that, you'll start to see the light bulb and you'll start to have fun. And once you're having fun, it's like game on at that point. Your career will take off and the creative part of the world in hair will guide you through the rest of it. So anyway, it may be a struggle at first, but if you really love doing hair, stick with it, keep learning, keep growing, push yourself through the uncomfortable times. I'm telling you, it'll be amazing.
Awesome. I have a few here, so let's go with this one. Lifetime value of a client. We've talked about this before, but I don't see a lot of people talking about it.
I love this. I don't think a lot of people have an awareness to it.
You might notice that you start treating people differently. And I don't mean that you're viewing human beings as money. But what I do mean is the next time you're going to passively aggressively post some BS on social media about how cancellations are hurting you or whatever, maybe consider that the person could be spending tens of thousands of dollars or more in your business over time. So is that $200 really such a big deal? And too many salon owners think too damn small.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see. I see a lot of small thinking, and you got to stop it. If you want to be successful in business or in anything, you have to be able to look at the big picture. Jen often talks about business and viewing business as a marathon and not a sprint. There's going to be times where you sprint. Sure. You want to go hard during the holidays. You want to go hard before summer because you're taking vacations, whatever. I get it. But to look at people and only look at the value of that single appointment when they might have been a client of yours for 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 5 minutes, doesn't matter. Instead of treating them well and trying to get that lifetime value of your client up, that's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my opening take.
It's a good one. I hope that it helps people look at things differently.
Yeah, I mean, and if you don't understand lifetime value of a client, look at you, Jen. You've been doing hair for 26 years, 27 years. Mm-hmm. How many years have you had clients? Have you had clients for that entire time?
Yes.
Okay, so you have a 27-year lifetime of clients.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you looked at your average appointment right now, that would be around whatever, assign a dollar amount to it. Let's just say it's $300. I don't know. So say you have a $300 times, how many times does a person come in per year? Say 4, 6?
Let's say 5.
Okay, so we'll say 5. So you have your dollar amount times 5. That's your yearly rate.
Right.
Now, if you multiply that by 27, you'll get a pretty large number. That's your lifetime value of a client. And it's always going to be an estimate, but here's the thing. It's always going to scale up because you should be increasing your prices. You should be getting better. You should be doing the things that are going to make that person invest more in your business.
Mm-hmm.
So very important to notice that and understand it.
I think it's extremely important, and it's such a valuable tool that is not utilized enough. That's bigger picture thinking, though, versus really small, just on the day-to-day.
For sure. All right, so salon owners. What are most new salon owners doing with their time, Jen? What are they focusing on?
Logos, paint colors, decorating, what color line to use, what brand.
I had their name, their paint, and their logo. They think that's their business.
Because that's the fun stuff.
That's the fun stuff. So what you're skipping, and
is all the
don't be sad because everyone does this, is the hard parts. So your planning, your math, your systems, your leadership, working on yourself to learn how to run a business. Running a business, I don't know how many times I've said this, hundreds.
A bazillion.
Running a business and doing hair are two different skill sets. Just because you're good at hair doesn't mean you're going to be successful in business. They have no carryover to each other. None. So build the salon that you want, or you're going to be stuck with the salon that you don't build. That sort of just builds itself, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about foundations. We talk about this a lot. I was going to go off about what social media says to do and all that stuff, but we can skip that stuff, right? We don't need to know.
Yeah, they can find that on social media.
Exactly.
All the stuff that's probably not real.
Exactly.
That doesn't make a difference.
I just had it in my notes. And I'm not used to paper notes, but I printed these today for some reason, just to be a little more fun.
Change of pace.
I feel like I'm a news reporter here. So you need your foundations first, and you should ideally have this stuff going before you even sign a lease.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to need your foundations, which is your mission, vision, and your core values. You're going to need that stuff to write a business plan. Without a business plan, how are you setting up all your bank accounts? You can set up a bank account without it, but how are you getting any loans? How are you making any decisions on what you want to do? How do you know what location is going to work for you if you don't have a business plan? So you need to figure that stuff out. And we have worksheets that we work through with people that help figure that stuff out. If you don't know how to do a mission, vision, and core values, you can find it online or give us a call. I'll help you with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you need, what most people do is they don't have an actual plan. They start this and they go, we'll figure this out as we go. Because they're excited. They want to paint. They want to order their furniture. They want to go on Facebook and go, where'd everyone get their stations from? They want to do all the fun stuff like hire their friends. And that's all stuff that you're going to need to do, but you're working backwards. Mm-hmm. And when you work backwards, it's going to be more difficult to then get situated later when you realize that things aren't running how you want them to run, if that makes sense. And then what I think a lot of people are doing too is that they'll have some sort of vague mission. I've seen this. Like, oh, I want this business to do X. Okay, that's sort of vague. And then they're making random decisions because they don't have core values to base their decision making off of. And then they're sort of just doing this copycat sort of branding thing where you're picking pieces of different things that you like, but you're not sure why you're picking them because you're just picking at random. Like, oh, that looks cool. I'll do that. Or, oh, this policy sounds fun. I'll do this. Or this sounds like something that will fix my problem. I'll do that. If that stuff is not coming from you and your why, it's not going to work.
Right.
I've literally seen it a few dozen times where people want to skip all this stuff and then they go, why isn't this working?
Right. And then they're just in a tailspin.
Exactly.
And the work, it's harder. It's still doable if you're in the tailspin. it is definitely harder and you have a bigger mountain to climb if you're doing it when you've already opened rather than doing it before. Because everything you've guessed at is now basically like you're looking at it like, I don't even know why I picked that. So you're having to just redo everything, and it's basically doing the same. You're doing the work over and over again.
Yeah. The second thing that I had here, what you should probably start working on is all your infrastructure. So this is setting up all of your bank accounts, your accounting, working with your distributors beforehand, figuring out your inventory and how that's going to go. Jen, either jump in or tell me to shut up if I'm wrong about anything.
Yeah.
Figuring out your payroll, setting up your taxes. What does that look like? How many people do you know that, like, let's say, for example, you're going off on your own. How many people that you know, Jen, just don't account for taxes?
Yeah, they are behind at the end of the year.
Yeah, but
and they owe, and some of them aren't even filing taxes because they're so afraid because they know they owe so much money.
Yeah.
Or they don't understand even the tax structure. When I went out on my own, I hired an accountant right away that was like, Jen, you need to put this much away. Every paycheck needs to go here for taxes. At the end of the year, we'll do whatever. And if you have something left over, cool, you got your own tax return in your own account. But had to set that up. And I also had to learn how to do QuickBooks, right?
Definitely, 100%. So payroll and taxes, your scheduling, your booking software, all that stuff, you're going to have to figure out your utilities. This is all simple stuff. It's not going to take you a long time to call your utility company and have that stuff done, but it's stuff that gets done before you have a logo.
And these are all, you have to understand these costs because you have to understand how to operate your business with profitability, or what does that look like long term? It may not be from day one. But if you don't know this stuff, then you're going to get hit with like, oh, I didn't realize my utilities would be this much money. I didn't realize AC was this expensive. Those shouldn't be surprises to you. And like Todd said, it's very easy to call all of these companies and they can give you an average about what it will be. Yours will be different. And those are always, some stuff had to fix, some stuff's always going to be moving around. But you can take an average and at least get a pretty good shot of what that's going to be.
Yeah, agreed. And it's just smart business to have a plan beforehand. If you're considering taking over a space, you can contact your, say, for example, electric company and ask them, hey, on average, what am I looking at for this space? Even easier if it was a salon, because they'll know. Mm-hmm. Most people are going to put a salon where a salon was, unless you're building a building or something new is coming up. And so they'll have that information for you. And then you can make decisions. Can I afford this lease? I don't know.
Or how many stations do I need in order to be able to afford this lease? So once you have all those numbers, say you were planning a 4-station salon and you're like, oh, shoot, I need a 6-station salon in order to operate fully and at what I need to be profitable. That looks like a different ballgame, right? Because now the loan you are going to take just got bigger because you need 2 more setups. It just helps you. You need to know this stuff ahead of time. Otherwise, again, you ended up guessing.
Yeah,
you end up guessing. Yeah.
The other stuff I had on here was Wi-Fi, music licensing. All this falls under, utilities, I guess. And then your insurance. I see a lot of people that are like, hey, I've owned a salon for a while now. I went to get insurance and it's really high. I can't afford it. I'm like, what? How are you going after? After to look for insurance? What have you been doing so far? Just praying that nothing happens?
That's insane, but probably.
And why do you need to do this stuff? Because changing stuff after is a pain or can be, depending on what you're dealing with, a giant pain in the butt. Dealing with changing distributor. Say you go with one company that's a distributor. We did this, right? We opened with one distributor. We moved to another. Now, we kind of lucked out because the distributors that we work with now are cool and they helped us a lot through the process. Mm-hmm. But you might not luck out.
Right.
So having a solid game plan and not just going into business and then figuring stuff out after will help eliminate a lot of the headaches.
And part of just real quick, back to what you were saying in the beginning, switching distributors when we did was realizing the path we were on with certain brands were not aligning with our mission, with our vision and our core values. And it was something that it was a hiccup for us. So when we switched over, we were looking for brands, and we talk about this a lot. Retail's not a big thing in our salon. It's not something that's not where we drive our business from. It's all service sales. But we knew that it was very important to support the mission, the core values, and the vision all around, and that it needed to start going from every single decision we made needed to be more aligned. And finding the new distributor with different products just really stood on the ground of what we were building with our mission, core values, and vision.
The next thing I had, Jen, was writing out your playbook. So you can call it a handbook. You can call it an employee staff book. You can call it a playbook like we do. It doesn't matter what you call it. You need to have it.
Yep.
And
it can be short and simple to start.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this big, fancy, huge thing because it's something that can go on and on. It lives forever.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to write a playbook and you have to use it.
Yeah.
If you don't live by that document, you're going to lose your way and you're going to make decisions based on randomness rather than your why, rather than your mission, rather than the core values. Does this decision get us closer to our goals? Does it get us closer to our vision? If you don't have that stuff because you don't have it written down, we're working with someone right now that's like, I have all this stuff, but it's not in my head. And I'm like, okay, let's get it down. So I gave them some worksheets. She's been working through them. And she's like, wow, getting this stuff out of my head has helped so much. I now feel like I know what's going on in my business where I knew before, but this makes it like real. This gives you something tangible.
All of these steps just really help clear space, I would say, to run your business once you're open.
Bingo.
Otherwise, you're like a world that's in your head and everything feels too difficult. Everything feels like you're going up a mountain and never reaching the top.
So, playbook, write it down. Again, we have a worksheet for this too that I created recently. I had one that I put out and I think it was a little over the top. So I simplified it and dumbed it way down and gave it almost like a skeleton outline sort of vibe. And you could add to it and add to it and add to it. But to have the basics down is really what you need to get started. You don't really need every single process in there to open because you can document that stuff as you go. But the main stuff needs to be in there. Like what happens if there's an emergency? That needs to be like, how do you contact somebody? Do you have a manager? What are the reporting lines? What are the phone numbers? You need phone numbers for people. Like if you hire somebody, they might not automatically have your phone number. You have to have a place that they can go to get your phone number. What if a client complains? Well, I don't know. Leave a sticky note? No, you should have a process in there. Your basic stuff. A lot of owners, I think, are assuming common sense will carry over like a team. It's not going to. People don't know what you don't tell them. They don't know how you want your business run. You can't just go, we're a luxury salon and have people understand what you're talking about. Right. It makes zero sense.
Everything has to be defined.
Yes. And this helps with people that you hire, like a new person. If you don't give them a target to aim for, what are they aiming for? They're just in your business, just doing hair how they think hair should be done, not how you want it done. Those are two different things. So yeah, to reiterate, I would have a playbook before you open. I would have roles and tasks for all your positions. Write literally everything down you can there. And then your systems, they don't need to be perfect, but a first iteration. All right. Before we move on, let's do that. Let's do some posts and perspectives, Jen.
Oh, I forgot about these.
You did? Awesome. All right. So this is a new segment. We just started it, I think, last week or the week before. Posts and perspectives, where I just find random stuff online and I read them and then we just react to them. So Here we go. I don't even know what I have. I just saved a few random things. So this person said they're looking for input from salon owners. They had a commission stylist who just didn't align with what they expected. Offered training and support, but doesn't seem interested or open to updating her techniques. She wasn't implementing anything. So I decided to end the commission agreement because the liability was becoming too high and there were too many unsatisfactory client outcomes. I did, however, offer the option for her to rent a station since she has a few clients that she built while at my salon, and she has accepted. Now I'm feeling a bit nervous about the transition. Has anyone gone through this?
What in the what? This sounds bizarre.
So you don't want a person at your salon, but you want them at your salon, is what you're saying. I don't even.
Yeah, and now you're putting them in a position that if they're getting redos or things aren't going well, it's not on you anymore. You're not in a position to help her. You literally set her up for failure.
And it's still under your roof. So there's
Right.
still going
So
to be
now you're gonna be
unsatisfactory
mad when those
outcomes.
clients are complaining about your salon and your name, and you're what are you gonna say? Well, she rents, so it has nothing to do with me? Or you're gonna try to micromanage her as a renter?
Just
This sounds absolutely like a hot mess express. I would step away quickly.
yeah.
Nothing good is coming of that situation.
Just another.
Next week will be a different scenario for her. What do I do with the renter that I just turned over into renting and she has a bunch of redos?
All right, next one. I hired a renter about a year ago. That's not a thing. You don't hire renters. When I hired her, she said she had a steady clientele. Over time, I noticed that she does not. She's a great stylist and she's trying to build. I see her struggling almost always to build. I feel like I need to tell her to go to a salon that she can assist at and have walk-ins and call-ins. She finished school a year ago. I know this is her business and I'm just her landlord, but I'd like to help her out. I feel like she's stuck and she needs a mentor or assistant program to build her. Is it wrong to not renew her contract and guide her toward the right path? Again, I know this is not my place as a landlord, but I generally care for this girl.
I mean, feel free to give your advice to the girl, but is she even asking for it? Like, does she want help? Over the last, I think, like 2 years, I realized there's so many situations where I want more for people than they want for themselves. They are like happy in the place that they're at, where I see so much potential or I see so much growth. But just because I see it doesn't mean it's going to happen. So maybe you see something for that stylist that she doesn't want. Maybe she's happy with what she's doing. I say if you always want to give advice, but don't be mad if they don't take it or they're offended because they feel like they're doing fantastic and now they feel like you're judging them.
Yeah, my 2 cents would be to just offer to help to the person if they want it, but don't be salty if they say no, because it is their
Right.
business. And the
Yeah.
reason that they rent is to be on their own. They want to be
Right.
independent. All right, last one, and we'll jump back into building a business. We're a hybrid salon, mostly commission. One of our booth renters was working today. I explained that if any walk-ins come in, they go to the commission stylist first, but if no one's available, the booth renter could take it and earn 55% commission. What do you all think? Oh, someone called to make an appointment and the booth renter ended up taking it and putting it into their own books instead. What do you think?
I think confusing.
Yeah, so this is another
I don't even.
yet another case for hybrid salons. I'll start with this one. You don't pay renters.
No.
You can't pay 55% commission to a renter. That is exhibiting control over their business. That's misclassification. That's all the buzzwords that every guru wants to throw out right now. It is illegal. You cannot pay somebody a commission that rents at your salon. So the client either stays with your commission employee or they go 100% to the renter.
Yeah.
Period. End stop sentence. That's it.
I agree. I
All right.
got nothing on that.
Let's get back into.
I'd be curious. Wait, real quick. I'd be curious what she pays for commission to her commission employees. Is it the same rate?
I'm not curious. I don't care.
I bet you it's not. I bet you the renter's winning. Unfair. Anyway, go ahead. Let's build a business.
Let's talk about pricing. You have to price like this is a business, not like this is a hobby, not like you're trying to replicate the salon across the street, not like you're trying to make everybody in the world happy. If you build your business based around discounts, you're always going to be discounts. It's very, very difficult to get out of that cycle. How do we know? We've seen it a bunch of times. That's how we know. I'll add profit later, or I'll get busy enough that profit will just appear is not a strategy. And I see people doing this a lot. So don't do that. Here's what you have to do instead. Know your numbers. What does it take for you to open per day, per week, per month, per year, however you want to look at it? I don't care. It doesn't really matter. But what does it take on an average week? What does it cost you to open? How many hours do you have in that week that you're available to provide services? You have to have a minimum number, your overhead cost plus your profit, to make money. Or else you're going to end up like 50% at least of salons out there that aren't profiting, or they're breaking even. That's wild to me why you would want to open a business to break even. There's a lot of stress that comes with it. Why would you want to do that for no reward?
Not worth it.
No, it's not worth it. So before you open, have a pricing structure. If you don't understand math, learn it, because you're gonna need it for running a business.
Yeah.
You can pay.
This is a big trip up for people because most people we see take whatever salon they were working at or working for themselves, and sometimes they actually decrease their prices. Sometimes they increase them. Sometimes they keep them the same. But whatever those prices were, wherever you last worked, it's not the same scenario where you work currently. The fixed costs are different. The costs that aren't fixed are different, and all of that has to be considered in the equation. And you have to, even per chair, how many chairs are you running? You need to understand all that so that you can just understand where your numbers are coming from.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people will go off on their own, or they open their business and they don't understand their break even. They don't have a savings plan. They haven't considered payroll or taxes. They don't have a marketing budget in mind. They're not thinking about insurance or software. They have no projections. They just open and go, well, I'm the owner now, so I'll keep 100% of the money. And that's more than I was making working for someone else. So I'll have more.
I think the breakdown, when you get into it, I think we've done a podcast on what people think they're going to make when they're out on their own and what it really looks like in percentages and how close it is to a commission salon is pretty eye-opening.
For sure. So once you have all of your numbers figured out, make sure that profit's in there, or it's not going to magically appear. Trust me, their dollars come into your business and they try to find a way out before they get to that bottom line in 100 different ways. That's just what happens. Stuff is going to break. You're going to need a new pair of scissors. You're going to need all sorts of stuff. Mm-hmm. Even if you're a very small operation, even if you're just working for yourself, if you're going to rent a chair, you should do all this stuff ahead of time too. You still need to know what's included. You still need to figure out if you're paying utilities or not. Are you paying for parking? Are you paying for whatever? Is it a triple net situation? I don't know how renting works, but there's all sorts of different things.
Yeah. Yes.
And if you don't figure that stuff out ahead of time, then your prices might not work.
Yep.
We've seen a ton of people go off to rent on their own and fall flat on their face because they didn't do anything except go, I want to be a boss. And they leave and they go work for themselves and they don't do well. Some of them don't even do hair.
Yeah.
And that's not, it's unfortunate. It's not what we want.
Well, yeah, because if you do your numbers ahead, you could be like, whoa, if I did go to rent right now, I couldn't raise my prices to where they need to be profitable. This might be something that needs to happen in a year or two when I can have enough clients or raise my prices. Then I could go out on my own and know that I can sustain what I want to make to take home and all my bills that I now will have to pay for.
Correct. And since we're talking about pricing, the last point I have on here is to make sure you review your pricing at least once a year, because the cost of doing business increases every year, whether you like it or not. And no one needs an economics lesson on social media. So you don't have to post, hey guys, I'm trying to hold off on raising my prices. We're going to do it now 3% on all services. That's not going to work. We've done a podcast on why 3% doesn't work and why $5 across the board doesn't work either. So go back and listen to those and to get the why. Let's talk about people. So you're building out a salon, or you hope to build out a salon. You're going to need people that work there. So what is your plan?
Yeah. How are you hiring?
How are you hiring? What does your onboarding process look like? How do you bring someone in, get them up to speed, get them on the floor, and get them generating revenue for the business and for themselves? Mm-hmm. What are the growth opportunities that you can present to that person so that they stay and don't move on? How can you prevent turnover? Things like that. You've got to have a plan for that stuff, because it's not just going to magically work. And I know a lot of places, like you're like, well, I'm hiring my friends. We're going to work. Your friends are eventually going to leave.
Yes.
What are you going to do then?
Yep.
They're going to leave, whether it's in a year, 5 years, or 10 years. Your friends are leaving. They're going on to greener grass.
It's just how it goes.
How are you hiring? Yeah, that's just how it goes. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. People should be happy. You want to go work somewhere else, you should be able to.
Yeah, I think that's just planning too. Like, you have that vision. So say you do open with a full staff. What happens when people do start to leave? What does that look like? How are you going to fill those chairs? What's the type of person you want to be bringing into your business? Todd uses the word avatar. Like, what is the avatar for your the staff that you want to build? Do they need to have experience? If they don't, what is the training program you're offering? Do you want them to have experience? Well, then great. How are you finding them? How are you capturing them into your business? These are all things you need to have a plan for. It won't just happen because you wished it to. That's not real.
Correct. Yeah, it's definitely not going to happen. So what are some common mistakes people make? I have over hiring, under training.
Keeping someone in a training program way too long. They don't need to be.
Yeah, that's another one. I didn't even have that here. Good one.
Mm.
So what do you have to do? How can you work around this? What are you building? You're going to build a growth plan for each role. You have a stylist. This is what it looks like. You have an assistant. This is what it looks like. You have an apprentice. This is what it looks like. It's important to lay that stuff out. What can these people expect? Again, if you don't give them targets, they don't know what to aim for.
Right.
And people are going to get frustrated if you don't give people some sort of parameters for, okay, you're going to be an assistant. This is typically a 6-month role. During the first month, I want you to learn the guests' names, answer the phones, sweep the floors. That's cool. Month 2, I want you to start shampooing. I want you to start giving it, making an impression on each client, like trying to build some rapport with people, being a little more hospitable as people arrive, stuff like that. Now that gives them something to work toward. If you just say it's 6 months, but you never touch base with anybody, that's not a plan. That's not a plan at all. And these people are going to become frustrated and they're going to quit.
No. And then if you hearing this are like, I'm too busy. How would I ever do that? You might need to reevaluate. That's why you do these things ahead of time. How are you going to implement this stuff? That's very necessary for your business to be sustainable long-term.
Yeah, correct. So, and then you have to set some sort of a cadence. What does this look like? Well, we're going to have one-on-one meeting, like a big meeting once a year, right? We do, like at Hello, we do a kickoff meeting every year where we go over last year and we go over everything from what we're planning for the upcoming year, what we think went wrong, what we think went right. We have people self-evaluate themselves. We run through quite a bit of stuff, and it's often an hour, or I would say more, per person. So when are you meeting with people? How often are you meeting with people? What metrics can they expect to go over? If you're like one of those KPI people, fine, but have it laid out ahead of time so that your staff knows. Don't hire someone, bring them on, get frustrated, have a meeting with them and go, oh, your retail percent is too low. When you never told them what retail percent they were supposed to hit, why that was important to your business, and how to get them there. Mm-hmm. If you don't lay that stuff out, you have no business being frustrated with anybody but yourself.
Correct.
Your next thing you're going to need is we love this topic, your team, your external support. Look at this so if you're into sports, this is your bench. These aren't your everyday players. They're not your starters, but these are people that you're going to need to rely on at some point. They're your lawyer, accountant, plumber, electrician. For us, your handyman.
Yes.
And then you're probably going to want, and by probably, I mean 100%, somebody that you can talk about business with, whether it's a mentor, whether that's paid, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend that's been where you want to be. You're going to need somebody. You cannot do it on your own. I promise you. You're just not good enough. No one is. You don't just know what you don't know.
Right.
Unless you've been to business school, which you haven't because you went to cosmetology school.
And then you still need mentors during that whole, like forever.
Yeah, I was just going to say you don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to business school.
I think too, you even, as you start to grow your business, and if you follow these steps, you will, you're going to want to surround yourself with people who are doing better than you. So you can see what the next step is so that you can push your boundary further. If in your circle are only people that are doing as good as you are or worse, you're going to be like, I'm at the top, I'm doing awesome. You're never going to strive to be any better. So having a mentor is going to help push you so that every year, every month, or however, you're rising to the occasion and pushing your business to different limits that you wouldn't be able to do on your own.
100%. So, and the last point I wanted to make about the bench, your bench players there.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a new vibe. You're welcome. The last thing I want to say is that those people having that speed on your side solves your problem. So by having a relationship or by doing a consultation with a lawyer, It lets them know you exist. It lets them know what business you're in. It lets them know any potential problems. It could be as simple as, hey, I'm opening into this business. Could you review my business plan? Or could you review my lease agreement? A lot of people are doing this stuff on their own to save money, and I understand that. But at a certain point, you're going to spend money.
It's not
You're
worth
going to
it.
need to spend money. So,
And at some point, you'll need a lawyer. So that's the guy you'd call, and he already has your lease on hand.
correct. And that was exactly my point. By having an accountant already and not waiting till you need back taxes done,
Yeah.
you're going to be ahead of the game. By having a plumber and your toilet or sink starts overflowing, you know who to call. You have their number on your phone. You don't have to go read reviews as your salon floods.
It takes all stressful situations, which you will have often, and it makes them, even in the time when they're stressful, you at least know who to call, and you know who's got your back and will take care of you. And that really helps you keep yourself under control. It shows leadership to your team. It shows that even though like this isn't working, wow, they've got that. They're all set. Someone's coming right now. And like Todd said, you don't have to do the review thing and everything, but it's also a working relationship that you need to have in so many different corners or with every player on your bench. Each one is a working relationship.
Yeah, and they're all indispensable. Like it's just, trust me, you're going to save by spending this money up front. You're going to save money long term. The last thing I want to say is something that I wrote to somebody on social media, which was go over all of this stuff, everything. Go over it and over it and over it until you think you're going to go blind, and then take a pause so you don't actually go blind, and then give it one more look. And then pause, breathe, refresh, and then give it another look. And then once you've looked it over like 20 times or however many, right? You're probably close. So what I would do then is define what success means to you. So that now you have, because you have your mission plan, and we're going to do a podcast on like guiding principles or your North Star. We haven't obviously named any of these yet, but I have notes going on that of how to have more of a why than just to make money or just to own a salon.
Yeah, some people's success, when we've asked them, it's just like, I just wanted to say I was an owner. I'm like, okay, like let's
accomplished. You're successful.
Yeah, you. I guess you did that. Let's go from there and redefine that. Maybe make that a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and money is okay. So if you want money is on there, money solves problems, right? We have problems. We're hungry. We need food. That costs money. It could be a lifestyle thing. I want to go on more vacations, so I want to build a business that supports that. Great. That's a great goal. I want to spend more time with my kids. Awesome. Let's build a business that allows you to be there less, which might take more work up front, but who knows, like whatever that looks like. Maybe you want to grow a team. That was important to Jen and I. We wanted to create jobs for our local economy. We wanted to feel like we were doing our part as citizens. Maybe there's an impact. Maybe there's some sort of a mission that your company stands for. That's, sustainability or whatever it is, whatever it might be. So figure that stuff out too. That's all I had, Jen.
That was great.
I hope it helps people build a business. Do that stuff. If you do this stuff beforehand, I'm telling you, it makes life way easier.
And if you're listening and you're already running that business and now you feel super far behind, this is where having a mentor, carving out one or two things you can start with and slowly getting on track. Like at this point, you can't do it all at once. And sometimes when there's like 10 things you have to do, you're just frozen because you don't know where to start or what to do, or you feel so overwhelmed. Before you know it, 3 months have gone by and you still haven't done any of the work. So in this case, sometimes it's just hiring someone to organize your thoughts, help you lay out a plan, and just make the steps and start, right? Get started, get moving in a direction to get your business running properly, and then get your business to where it's running properly and then profitable.
Make salons great again.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. We'll see you next week, people. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.